to be conducting a parasitic power draw test on our Honda Accord today, and we're going to need a fuse jumper, multimeter, Jacoby.
All right, first step is we're going to want to disconnect the negative battery cable from the terminal. And what we're going to do, this screwdriver here, is just make sure it doesn't touch. We're actually going to connect one end of the fuse jumper to the connector and then one end to the terminal itself. Now, I know I don't really care about my jumper, so I just kind of wedged it on there. And then we're just going to touch that there. We're going to let it sit for anywhere from a half hour to an hour, depending on the vehicle. Most older vehicles, it doesn't take long at all. Newer vehicles, because they do have a lot more electrical computers that keep that power in there longer, you're gonna have to let them sit longer. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and let that sit for a little bit, get all the components drained out and all that good to go. While we are waiting, though, we will show you what we need to do as far as in the cab to prepare for the test.
So what we're gonna do now is simulate the vehicle being shut off for the day and put in a state where you're done for the day and you leave the car sit for a while, and then that's when the battery is actually going to do its power draw, depending on certain components and stuff like that.
Right now, when we're doing our initial test, we're going to want, obviously, basically as little stuff on as we can. Obviously, there's going to be some regular security systems going, stuff like that. But for the most part, doors shut, dome lights off, any aftermarket components such as like subwoofers, anything plugged into the cigarette lighters, all that shut off, and make sure that the car is not drawing any power that we can control.
Then we can confirm this by looking at our dash lights, and there's nothing on, as if the car has been sitting for a while.
Okay, so the step right now, we're just going to go ahead and run the test. And for the test, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the positive lead here for the multimeter. We do have it set up to test amps. We've gone over how to test the amp fuse in the multimeter in previous videos. Go ahead and check our previous videos out for that. But for now, we're just going to jump right into it, and we're going to touch the red lead right to here and the black lead right to the ground. You want to keep your fuse jumper on for the first part, just in case there's any voltage spikes, just to protect against that. Once there is, we can go ahead and remove that and check our amperage coming through. And it looks like we're sitting right at about 222 or 0.022 amps, which should be right around 22 milliamps. So,
and this is going to be within spec, because our spec is going to be around, I think, 20 to 40 milliamps, and this is doing pretty good.
Right where it needs to be. Hypothetically, say you did this test and your systems were obviously showing a large draw. What you'd want to do is you want to go through, have one person hold the test there checking it, and you'd have another person go through and basically pull fuses for different systems, trying to figure out where the draw is at. When doing that, what you'd want to do is you want to go through and make it seem like the doors are latched and closed even while you're in there, opening them, having access and all that. Basically, you can do that by manually closing the latches on the doors, holding closed door push switches that say, hey, the doors are closed, stuff like that. Anything that would make the car activate or loads to be presented when something's open. Same thing with like a hood light, anything like that. You go through and jump all that, make it so that it seems like it is closed or is off. So,
and then the same thing for like trunk lights and glove box lights, because you really don't see them turn off because they're only open when you have like those compartments open, and that could be a pretty good area to look for a parasitic power draw.
All right, then finally we're just gonna go ahead and put this back all in together and get it all buttoned up and everything, so that way we can get this driver back on the road.